Hi there. Welcome to part 3 of our 4-part social media marketing for small business web series. In this video, we are going to be covering what you should keep in mind as a small business owner when you're creating your online content strategy. For this video, our goal is that you, the participant, will leave with the ability to formulate your own content strategy. Most importantly, you will understand that there are different types of content that are more suitable for certain demographics, and which platform or channel is best suited for that type of content that you are sharing. To begin, I would simply like to define what content is, although I am sure many of you are already familiar with the term. Content is any piece of marketing material that helps convey consistent and effective messages to your target audience. Content can take a number of different forms. It is important as a business owner or marketer to know who your target audience is, where they spend their free time digitally, and the most suitable content types for that audience and the platforms that they hang out on. Here, I have broken down the most popular content types you can use to market your business as a small business owner. I would like to begin with photo and video. Photos are ideal when shared on any of the big social media platforms, meaning Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or LinkedIn. The more visual posts that you have on social media, the more engagement that you will induce. If you are strictly looking to increase your engagement, I would like to note that video is the best, followed by photos, and then lastly, text-only posts, which I would like to be clear cannot be made on Instagram. Infographics are the next piece of content that I would like to talk about. They are essentially like photos or pictures, but they're digitally created or altered to provide information and or data to your target audience in a way that is visually appealing for the viewer. This can be an excellent way to provide some information on products that might be new to the market, for instance. The next piece of content would be user-generated content. And it is just that, created by the consumer or the user, which can take many different forms. For example, a business that sells male grooming products may see their page tagged in a man's selfie. He then posts on Instagram. He may advocate on behalf of that product or company. This may seem a little out there or far-fetched, but you would be surprised how many people do this. It is essentially the digital version of word of mouth. And we all know consumers who may be on the fence regarding your product or service would rather hear from a customer that was happy with the product than the marketer or business owner themselves. A great way for you to now feature the user-generated content on your page would be to now, for instance, repost it on your Instagram story. Followed by user-generated content, we have live streams. Now, live streams are another great content piece. As we know already, video is highly engaging and is a tried and true method for driving sales. Live videos are no different. If anything, they can potentially do more for you and your business because you are going live. Make sure that you have everything planned beforehand, though, because although video content is great for businesses, many consumers will look negatively at a business that posts videos that are sloppy or not planned well. Live streams are ideal for things such as streaming events, product launches, or maybe business updates. Moving on down, we have podcasts. Podcasts are really only ideal for a few very niche businesses that we would deal with at CBDC Blue Water. They're great for, like I said, niche businesses or individuals such as influencers, musical artists, photographers, or certain types of consultants. Traditionally, podcasts have been voice only, but modern podcasts are being created with a video element to it, taking the look of a panel answering questions, an interview, or simply one person speaking to the mic and camera. Next are blogs, which should be well written. These can be a great way for you to explain or back up your product or service, especially if people don't know about you right now. If you're a consultant this can be an excellent way to develop your reputation as a thought leader within your industry. Finally, we have email marketing, and contrary to popular belief, it is still extremely important. I recommend creating an email list for yourself regardless of the industry that you are in. Once you have emails, you can send specific promotions to your most loyal customers, new product launches, you can announce sales, update your customers with newsletters, and much more. You may argue that people don't want to receive junk mail, and you're right. But it's up to you as the business owner or marketer to create content for that email that will appeal to the audience that you are sending it to. At that point, they will not view it as spam. Now that you have a good idea regarding the types of content that are available, or the most popular types of content that are available, there are a few questions that I think are important to be able to answer as the small business owner before you start creating the actual content. The first being, what's your marketing goal? Second is, who is your target market? Third being, what problems or concerns are you solving for your target market? Fourth being, what makes your product or service unique? Or in other words, how do you stand out from your competition? And fifth and finally being, what types of content are the most suitable to convey your messages? Remember that promotional messages to different audiences may require different types of content and possibly require being posted to different marketing channels such as Facebook or Instagram to reach those audiences. First things first, you need to determine your current marketing goal. It is impossible to get anywhere without first establishing where you are trying to go or what you're trying to accomplish. This can help you when creating content for your business. It is important to create content that is going to propel you towards your goal. Otherwise, your time and money spent brainstorming, creating, and posting the content was not worthwhile. A basic example of a high-level marketing goal, for instance, could be to create brand awareness, which is something you should always be striving for. However, it is not a top priority for Apple or Coca-Cola, for example, whereas at CBDC Blue Water, that is a current goal of ours. Another example could be that you are trying to define yourself as a thought leader within the industry your business resides. If you are seen as a thought leader, it means you are viewed as an expert in your field or industry, answering the most difficult questions your customers have through the most appropriate type of content for that audience. This can be ideal for our consultant clientele. You can achieve this through many different forms, one of the most popular being blog posts or podcasts. By providing expert knowledge to your audience, you can begin to establish yourself as a thought leader within your industry. The next step in determining your content strategy is to ask yourself, who is our target market? Many people tend to answer this question with everyone. A better way to phrase the question, who is your target market, would be, who is your ideal customer? People are all different, and their purchasing habits will all differ. I would like to draw on the famous example of, why doesn't Lamborghini have television commercials? Well, that's because their target audience isn't sitting around and watching TV. Now, of course, there are other factors at play with that example, but it provides the message I'm trying to get across. After determining your target market accurately, it is time to conduct a little side research to determine where those customers spend their free time, both offline and online, and what type of content they are most likely to respond to or take action with. The last two questions that we've answered are most likely going to assist you in selecting the best types of content to help you reach your goal. But these next two questions should more so help you formulate the content with not only the language that you're using, but what you talk about in your content. The first big question to answer in your content is, what problems are you solving for your target audience? Essentially, You should be explaining how your product or service can improve the quality of life for your customers. Using a method like this is far less intrusive than more direct selling techniques. For example, you own an HVAC company where you install new air systems in addition to cleaning and repairing old ones. If you are trying to increase your revenue from the cleaning side of your business, a great way to market this could be to illustrate or explain exactly what can happen to your duct system, or entire home for that matter, if one does not clean theirs on a regular basis. Your potential customers are more likely to click learn more because they don't have their guard up the same way that they might if you were simply stating in your content the product or service and the price. The second question that can help you formulate the actual messages within your content is, what is it about your product or service that's unique? Or in other words, how do you stand apart from your competition? Once again, this builds on the idea that we do not want to be pushy with our advertisements. Let them do the talking for you. There are a few ways to do this, but to be clear, I would never recommend saying, I am better than my competition because of X, Y, and Z. Instead, I suggest selecting a number of features about your product or service that do stand out from the competition. And gradually, over time, you will create and post content highlighting the features of this product or service. The reason I say gradually is because you can create more content that can last you longer. Instead of making one Instagram post highlighting 4 features of a product, turn that into 4 different posts and stagger them from week to week, lasting you 4 weeks at 1 post a week. I obviously recommend having other content in your strategy, but that is an example of how I recommend doing it. The next thing that I would like to quickly address is what types of content are most appropriate for what channels. So essentially, if I take a photo, where should I post it? If I start a blog, where should I store it for my clients to view it? So first, I would like to talk about video. This is probably the most sought after content type currently due to the engagement they can bring your online profile. It can be expensive to produce, so many small business owners haven't started using it to their full potential. However, it is becoming much more affordable. Not to mention, our cell phones take video at a high enough quality for social media advertisements. So it is entirely feasible for a small business owner to create on a budget. Videos can be posted to your social media pages, so Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or Twitter, your website, accompanying a blog perhaps, or of course, the biggest platform for video, YouTube. Second, we have photos and infographics. They are great for creating engagement. Not quite as good as video, however, far more than a simple text post. Photos are ideal for Facebook. You need them, or video, for Instagram. They can help you a lot on Twitter and LinkedIn, but are not essential there. Photos that are posted on social media should be well thought out, but do not require a pro camera. If you do plan on having photos on your website, however, which is always a recommendation, I do suggest having your website content professionally shot. Next, we have live streams. Live streams can be done on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube. These are great because many people who follow you will actually be notified that you are going live, thus potentially bringing more viewers to your live than a traditional edited video would on your timeline. Finally, we have blogs. I always recommend promoting your blogs through social media or emails. However, you need a place to store them online for people to visit. A website is the most ideal spot for a blog to be posted. Yes, you will need to advertise your blog to drive traffic there, but over time, if you're consistent with it, you will start to see people viewing the blog that haven't necessarily seen your social media post. They come to expect it over a certain amount of time. After developing a content strategy for your business, I recommend finding a social media scheduler that you like. In this way, you can schedule up to, for instance, a month's worth of social media content all in one go, making it extremely easy on yourself as a busy small business owner. In saying that, what programs may work for one may not work for others, both in terms of usability and posting or scheduling limits. So I suggest trying the free trial for a few of the big scheduling platforms such as Hootsuite or Later, and from there, determine what works best for you and for your business. The final tip that I would like to give you today is that it helps to group your content together into chunks or content pillars, as we like to call it. Decide on a frequency and then start brainstorming. So for instance, at CBDC Blue Water, we try and make 3 posts on social media a week. In our case, we do a promotional post. So here we do use direct selling tactics. We could launch a new program. Maybe we have a new loan available for different types of business owners. So we still like to use promotional messages, but it should be limited. A second content pillar for us would be education. So we do provide education to small business owners in rural HRM. But for you or another small business, this may look like you're educating the customer on how to use your product or how that product can improve the customer's life. Second, or third, I should say, is behind the scenes. So that's a third content pillar we do. People love to see the people who run the business or the people who work within the business. It makes people feel, for lack of a better term, warm and fuzzy when they see employee highlights or even a story about the small business owner who started the business that they enjoy purchasing from. I hope you were all able to take something away from today's content strategy video. If you are a small business owner located in Rural Halifax Regional Municipality, please feel free to hit myself, Noah Matthews, the marketing coordinator at CBDC Blue Water, for a one-on-one session to discuss things like your content strategy. I would love to help. Take a look at the description below for more information on how to reach out to myself.